I love playing rugby, I love baking, and I love my cat. My younger self was very outgoing and loud and boisterous, but she was also very broken inside. I grew up in a really small coastal country town, so we had free reign to pretty much do whatever we wanted. So there was many beach parties. I started drinking at a very young age. Life at school was very up and down for me. I was quite loud. I was very angry. I was a bit of a grub as a student, to be honest, and I feel bad for my teachers now. Some of them have really looked out for me because I think they knew that something else was going on. Anything could trigger my anger or my sadness. Somebody could look at me the wrong way and I would go from 0 to 100. The anger I would feel inside of me would come out in tears a lot. I would cry if I was super angry. I didn't know how to control my anger. There was no discussion in my household about mental illness or mental health. There was no discussion at school about it. No one ever spoke about it. It was very taboo. I remember asking a couple of my friends if they had these same types of feelings and them just not even knowing what I'm talking about. The time after school, I'd moved out of home and started working full time, and I loved it. But also I had severe anxiety and depression. It was getting quite a lot for me to handle. The impact of having anxiety at the time was physical for me. It felt like there was something inside of myself that I wanted to rip out. It was a pain, like physical pain all through my body. I'd have panic attacks, like severe panic attacks where I felt like I couldn't breathe, felt like I physically couldn't go into shops or anything because my anxiety would be so high. People saw it and probably tried to help at the time, but you can't help someone who won't admit there's an issue. If people brought it up to me, I would react by shutting it down instantly and saying that everything is fine and okay and pretending to be happy. It felt really hard to let anybody in, and I don't think I actually let anybody in fully until I had to go to hospital. And that really put a little switch in my brain that something is not right with me. And I saw a few health professionals at that time. They weren't a great fit for me personally, but they did open up a world for me where I could reach out for support from different members of that community. I was sent to a psychiatrist. My dad came to sit in on some of the sessions to understand what was going on, because I was lying through my teeth about how serious things were. I wasn't lying about what was going on, I was just not telling the truth of how bad it had gotten. So it was good to have family and friends in there to actually explain what I had been doing, because to me, everything was normal. I was transferred to a hospital closer to my parents' house, and once I was there, I was horrified to learn that somebody from my schooling days was actually a mental health professional who worked at that hospital. I felt so full of shame. And I remember going up to her and saying, "Hey," and us talking, and then me crying and asking her not to tell anybody that I'm in here. When she said, "I've got you, I won't tell anyone," that really helped me, and that made me want to go to a lot of the sessions. In my mind, I decided that I had to get better. When I was discharged from hospital, I went into an outpatients program. I had a lot of professional support, a lot of community support, and that really got me through the next year. How I learnt to not be angry was to pick a time where I was angry and really simplify it. One of the things I think about is a salt and pepper shaker that my mum and dad had, and I didn't like it. I found it to be offensive, which I have every right to feel, but it got to the point where I was screaming at my parents. I was so mad. And then later on deconstructing that, why was I actually angry? It had nothing to do with the salt and pepper shakers, and it had more to the fact of I had an issue with my mum about something else. The program really helped me to understand where I was actually coming from. It hasn't been an easy going for me to get better. It's been quite a difficult journey to get to the point where I am now, but after all the hard work that I've gone through with all of the support from my family and friends and the professional help that I've been seeking, I haven't had a drink of alcohol since I went to hospital, which is fantastic for me, and I'm really proud of myself for that. And I also am in such a great place mentally, physically. My relationships have evolved significantly for the better. Me and my mum have never been closer. Me and my dad are really close. Me and my brothers, they've gone through their own issues and they've been able to talk about it in a real positive way. So knowing that a lot of people go through their own mental health experiences makes me realize that I don't need to be ashamed or embarrassed about my own experiences.